Hey everyone, welcome back to RameyWorks 360. In today's episode, we're going to be painting up the US Marine mortar team set from Trumpeter at 135 scale. Now, this was a pretty easy set to build. However, the things that get a little complicated are the small hands and feet. I found the most trouble when I was trying to glue the hands to the mortar round and then to the individual. Now, the kit does come with Marine digi-cam decals, but for this build, I wanted something a little more personal. So I went with the Multicam scheme that better reflects my experience. So join this guy for this week's painting. Let's get after it. I start by priming all the figures in black. It gives me a neutral base and helps keep the shadows where I want them. Once the primer's down, I add a zenithal highlight from above. This helps establish the light early, so I don't have to force it later. For both the primer and zenithal highlight, I use my Harder and Steinbeck Evolution CR+. I really like how easy it makes these two steps. With the light mapped out, I move on to the base color. I use German Camo Beige, applied as a glaze. It's light enough to let the zenithal show through, but warm enough to work as the foundation for the Multicam. From there, I begin building the multicam pattern. I start with Luftwaffe Cam Green, which I actually had to look up how to pronounce. It gives me the cooler green tone without overpowering the base color. Next, I add German Camo Pale Brown. This brings in some warmth and helps break up the uniform without pushing it too dark. I then use uniform green to deepen certain areas and add contrast. It's a little stronger, so I use it sparingly. At least try to. Tan earth comes next. I use it to soften transitions and keep the pattern grounded, especially in the midtones. To add scale detail, I place a few dots of pale sand. They're subtle, but they help the pattern read better at this size. Finally, I use chocolate brown. This ties everything together and adds depth, keeping the uniform from looking flat or washed out. Once the uniforms are finished, I move on to the gear. I use flat earth for some of the pouches and boots because it feels practical and worn without being too dark. It's also the closest I could get to coyote brown. One thing I really liked about this kit is how many pouch options it includes. I chose the pouches based on my own experience and the role each figure plays on the Mortar team. Other pouches are painted in Multicam to add variation and avoid everything blending together. The mortar round carried by one of the figures is painted in olive drab because it's an HE round. I also went ahead and painted the cheese charges yellow. For the skin, I started with burnt red as a base. It gives the skin some warmth underneath and keeps it from looking chalky. Once that's dry, I layer in brown sand over the top. This lightens the skin while letting the warmth show through in the shadows. The multicam reads differently on each figure, even though the colors are the same. Some areas feel lighter, others settle into the shadows. The gear breaks up the uniform just enough. Nothing feels overdone. Even though this kit started as a Marine set, it translates well into an Army mortar team. Small choices in color and layout make a bigger difference than I expected. For this one, I didn't try and push the weathering. I wanted the figures to feel ready, not worn out. In the end, it's not a complicated build, but it's one that means a lot to me. Now this is my first time painting multicam, so in the comments below, let me know how I did and what I can do better next time. If you like this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and join me in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure.